Hey there YouTube, welcome to another episode of Bert's Bike. Today we're talking about my long-term review on my W800 Cafe. And yes, this is the bike that I replaced my Indian Scout 60 with. Stay tuned to find out more about this amazing bike and why this was the better bike for me. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. With that said, let's jump into it. So this is not intended to be a W800 versus Scout video. They are both two drastically different motorcycles. In this video, I'm really just going to review the W800, some things I love and hate about the bike, and why it's just a better overall fit for me. So I just want to be clear, I absolutely love Indian motorcycles. They definitely make some of the coolest bikes out there, namely the Scout line, FTR, and Dark Horse. I definitely see another Indian motorcycle in my future. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly I want, whether that would be the FTR, a Tourer, another Scout, but really I'm hoping for something in the adventure bike category for them in the near future. So let's get into this W800, guys. Hang with me, there's a lot of bike to go over. So I've been fortunate enough to try out a handful of different bikes. In growing as a rider, I've really seen a shift in what I prefer in a motorcycle. So most people can't really afford to own 10 different bikes that all do different things. So you really have to get maybe one or two motorcycles that really suit your needs and wants. So as I've said in my Scout video, a motorcycle for me has to do really three things. It has to look good, it has to perform, and it has to be reliable. And if you're not just having fun on your motorcycle, you're using it for work, commuting, running errands, and all that kind of stuff, you really need to have efficiency in there as well. So obviously, the W800 Cafe is a very attractive and classic looking motorcycle. Every time I stop to get gas, grocery store, whatever, somebody is asking me about this motorcycle. So I was very drawn to this bike when I first saw it. I'd sat on it quite a few times, and I always just kind of dismissed it because of the Clubman handlebars. They really put you in a really lean forward position. I wouldn't say it's quite a sport bike, but it's somewhere in between a standard and a sport bike. And I can definitely say after having this bike for an extended period of time, doing short, long, and overnight trips, I definitely like being leaned over more than being upright. And from a comfort standpoint, you're definitely taking the weight off your lower back. And you're also cutting the wind better since you're leaning into it, instead of being an upright sail in the wind. Your legs are more in a standard 90-degree angle if you're hovering the brake and the clutch pedal. However, if you ride on the balls of your feet, like I do, it'll give you more of an aggressive and sporty stance. And when the bike is moving, you really don't notice that you're leaning forward that much or that it's putting a lot of strain on you. I tend to grip the tank with my knees. That keeps your core slightly engaged, and that keeps you up on the bike. Also, you're using the wind to your advantage when you're slightly leaned forward like this. You can kind of lean into the wind, and it keeps you upright when you're doing, 40, 50, and above. Conversely, though, when you're slowing down, or slowing down abruptly, the wind pressure is taken away and it feels like you're falling forward slightly, and that in turn puts some pressure on your wrists. But really, you just have to learn how to ride this bike, engage your core, and grip the tank. If the Clubman bars are a deal breaker for you, a lot of people just order the standard bars and put them on there. It's just a drop in. So if you want an upright position with the styling of this bike, you can get it. It comes with a cafe style seat that's narrow up front and gets wider as you move back. There's enough room for a passenger or your luggage on there. But most importantly, it gives you enough room to kind of move around and get comfortable and switch positions a little when you're riding. To my surprise, the cafe fairing does a great job of breaking up the wind around you. It's not a windshield, but it does just enough to take that direct blast off of you and to move the air around the bike. So moving on to the engine and the way this bike feels when you're riding it. I'm not really a stats guy, but again, it definitely has plenty power, a good amount of torque, I wouldn't say this is a speed demon by any stretch of the imagination, but it definitely has a lot of pull and a lot of sure power. It just feels very confident when you're accelerating the bike. When you crank this thing on, you really notice the engine and all the character that it has. It is a really low, satisfying rumble to the exhaust. It's a stock exhaust, so it's not very loud, but it has a really nice, low, thrumming exhaust note. The bike feels very, very good at any speed, really. You could be lugging the engine if that's what you like to do, or you could really be getting after it. At highway speeds, there's definitely no squirreliness going on. It feels very confident and keeps its line really well in those upper digits. Also, this is probably the smoothest gearbox that I've ever used on any motorcycle. It just slips into the next gear without any fuss at all. And obviously the star of the show is the bevel drive. It's very, very unique to this particular motorcycle, the W650, the W800. It also means you don't get any chain noise from your engine. It's really hard to describe how this engine feels when you ride it. The bevel drive, the heavy flywheel, the really low exhaust note really add to the character and vibe of this bike, and it's really something you gotta get out and experience for yourself. Another thing to note is that I believe this bike was engineered to have some vibrations. You really notice them around the 3,500 to 4,000 revs mark. It's nothing crazy, it just feels like a motorcycle to me, but it's definitely something to take note of, especially if you're the kind of rider that is super sensitive to vibrations. For me, at the end of the day, it just adds a lot of character to the motorcycle. The more and more I ride different motorcycles, the thing that makes me love them is if they have a personality, and this bike definitely has one. Overall, I feel the W800 is balanced really well. It carries its weight pretty low, but to my surprise, when you're at slow speed and moving really slow, I'm talking like sub 5 miles an hour, you don't really feel a need to put your feet down right away. It just seems like you can keep your feet up until you're pretty much stopped. I'm not sure, but the bike might be a little heavy for its class, but I think for me that translates into feeling planted and sure of itself. As you can see, slow speed maneuvers are really great on this bike. Some bikes at slow speed feel like they're always uneasy or they're about to fall over, but since its weight is carried pretty low and the way that the weight is distributed on the bike, everything just feels very confident, and also you don't get that I'm about to tip over feeling. Let's talk about the suspension on this bike. I wouldn't say it's a performance type suspension, but it feels very plush riding the bike normally. If you're really getting after it and you're really pushing this bike to the limit, you might want to adjust the preload a little bit or maybe get some different springs. I would say that if you're hitting any big bumps or large ruts in the road, that you probably want to stand up or lift yourself off the seat a little bit, because sometimes those bumps can make the bike feel a little bouncy. Let's talk about equipment. So there are quite a few things that come stock on this bike that a lot of bikes don't come with. And if you're just browsing, some of this might not be so obvious. And to list them out, you really see the value you're getting for the money you're paying. So here we go. We've already mentioned the 2-up seat, complete with passenger pegs, grab rails, and multiple tie-down points, the cafe fairing, a really nice unique LED headlight, a slip-and-assist clutch, adjustable brake and clutch levers, spoked wheels, a hinged fuel cap, oil sight window, and last but not least, ABS. The headlight is definitely more than adequate, but something to note about it is it really has a bright LED beam when you're looking at it, but when you're riding at night, it definitely has a wide throw, and also kind of has a dark spot between, and I do feel comfortable riding alone at night, but I would like to add maybe some Denali auxiliary lights in the future, just to get even more visible. As you can tell, I really like this motorcycle. I really think it has a lot to offer. It has a lot of features, a lot of vibe, a lot of character. However, there are a couple small things that I'm really trying hard to find something wrong with it, but the wiring, I guess, could be a little bit better. Some of the electrical tape around it is unraveling a little bit. Some of that could have been a little bit better. Also, there are mounts for a center stand, but Kawasaki does not make a specific center stand for the cafe version. I believe the regular version center stand will fit. Some have fitted with no problems, some have had to modify a little bit. So if you get the standard version, you don't get the cowl, but you get the center stand. And if you get the cafe version, like the one that I have, you get the cowl, but no center stand. And again, I don't mind actually paying extra for it. I just wish they would make it easy to find and put together a center stand for the bike, because it is chain drive and it is dual exhaust, so you're going to have to get between that exhaust to clean that chain. And I don't think this is a fault of the bike, but when I picked up my bike from the dealer, when they set it up, they had to put a battery in it, and they ended up, I think, scuffing some of the paint on the frame and on the side cover. It's just barely noticeable, but it's just something I noticed. I don't think it was a fault of Kawasaki. Another thing to note, the tank paint is beautiful. It's rich and deep. It has a metallic flake on it. In fact, I think they call it metallic magnesium gray or something like that. But the base coat underneath, or the primer underneath, if you get a chip in the clear coat and it takes out some of the paint, it does have a white primer underneath, so you'll get kind of an awkward looking chip. It's not that big of a deal. It just adds some character and some patina to your bike. If you ride your motorcycle to any sort of capacity, you are going to get chips and dings and scratches on it. Let's shift gears and talk about fuel economy, and then I'll just give my final thoughts after. So the last 5 tanks of gas I gotten, I've waited till the fuel light kicks on, and the fuel light on this bike kicks on very early. When that light kicks on, I've almost every time, if I filled up right when that light kicks on, have right at a gallon left. It's got about right around a 4-gallon tank, if not right at 4 gallons. I think it's 3.9. The last few tanks of gas I've gotten, my average miles per gallon have been 53, 51, 54, 48, and 49. So I have gotten on longer trips up to 61, 62. And that wasn't really babying the bike. I guess there's just no stop and go and having to do all that. On longer trips, right in the low 60s. But a mix of in-town driving, spirited riding, interstate, I guess you're going to get about maybe the low 50s. And keep in mind that every rider is different, so your mileage may vary. Guys, if you haven't checked out the W800 yet, either version, cafe or standard, check them out. They're amazing bikes. They're kind of sleepers here in the United States. All over the world, everybody knows how awesome they are. But sometimes we're late to the game here in the US because we get the bikes in later than the rest of the world. I just happened to stumble into one, and I ended up being very pleasantly surprised. I think the bike is a perfect blend of cool, fun, and practicality. It's definitely my favorite bike that I've owned, and I'll be definitely hanging on to it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys and gals. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. I'm out, and I'll catch you on the next video.